evening.
Are you sure you were a part of it?
Good evening.
Stand in
My name is
front.
Matt.
That's a good thing.
Brian's best man and older brother. Though, over the last decade, I've also had to settle for being the shorter brother. I've seen Brian at his highest, his lowest, and his weirdest. But today he's at his best. And that's entirely thanks to our beautiful bride and the families around both of them that have made this amazing day a reality. Growing up for us in Cleveland, we played hand hockey in the basement against Dad, competed with each other in video games, and copied dance moves from Chris Brown music videos. Brian was a kind and creative kid that I probably gave too hard a time back when I was the bigger one. But honestly, for me, my favorite parts of our relationship are less about the early years and more about the overlap and connection we've made later in life. We had similar teenage summer experiences in Chautauqua. This is where we both made our best friends, had our first romances, and went to our first parties. I remember bringing Brian out on my buddy's boat, sitting him down with groomsman Max over there, and introducing them to their first beers. The only requirement was that they had to suck on Jolly Ranchers, so the Boys and Girls Club dance chaperone, Al, couldn't smell anything on their breath when they walked in. Another favorite was my friend Eddie telling him early on that the classic saying went, "Beer before liquor, you're in the clear."
No.
And Brian believing it.
Oh no.
Our similar experiences continued in college. We both joined fraternities, lived together in Oregon, and pivoted into tech after graduation. He's the designer, I'm more the engineer product side. I'm always pressuring him to start something up with me, and one of these days I'll finally convince him. But the main thing I want to highlight today are 3 characteristics and stories to go with them that do a good job of encompassing who Brian is. First, he is a man of routine. Do not mess with Brian's routine. Don't get in the way of his 8-egg breakfast first thing in the morning. And now, back before he could cook, for those 6 months living with me in Portland, he'd go to this bagel shop down the street every morning. One day, after he had moved to Chicago, the chalkboard sign outside the bagel shop said, "Where did Brian Deagle go?" My friends and I lost it, because we knew it wasn't like Brian was going in there, chatting everybody up and making best friends. He was just in there doing work on his computer. This was purely a, hey, this guy came in here religiously every day for 6 months. Where the hell did he go? Kind of thing.
It's so funny.
Second, this guy has the most obsessive personality I know. To be clear, this is the highest of compliments in my book. When I heard Mr. Beast, the most successful YouTuber of all time, once say, "I'm a very obsessive person. Like, if you told me to do like 100 things, I would struggle at it. But if you told me to think on this one thing every second of the day for the next 10 years, I can do that pretty easily. I like to just obsess over something, like dream about it, wake up, think about it, 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 work on it, work on it, work on it, think about it, dream about it, and just do that every single day." That, for me, comes very naturally. And when I heard all that, I just immediately thought of Brian. Now, the obsessions change from time to time. At one point, it was Power Ranger Megazords. He's still got 40 of these bizarre toys in his childhood closet in Cleveland. Later on, it was sneakers and the music. I remember him weirdly knowing so much about the rapper Drake. In high school, it was the gym. Through trial and error extensive internet research, and a lot of hard work, he formulated a workout system that led him to have 17-inch biceps at one point. To put this in perspective, that's a bit bigger than the size of a CD. And yes, of course, he measured. In college, all throughout Greek life at Miami, because of these legendary guns, he was known as Briceps. Can't go with this. As an adult, it's been about his work, digital product design. Towards the end of college, Brian had narrowed in on digital design as his career path. He got really good at this incredibly obscure design tool, to the point where he, a college kid, and the founder were exchanging emails about Brian's feedback for the tool. Then, Brian, fresh out of college, met some hotshot Microsoft guy starting a social calendar app who hired young Brian as the second employee based on sheer talent and design IQ he displayed over a coffee chat. That company would later get acquired by ThinCal, which is now known as the world's fastest calendar, whatever that means. Recently, Brian told me he doesn't listen to music in his car anymore. He just likes to sit there in silence, lost in his thoughts, thinking about his craft. I won't hear from Brian for weeks, and then all of a sudden I'm opening up my phone to 20 late night texts about his critiques on Apple's latest liquid glass animation effects on the iOS 26 update. One of Brian's favorite movies is Whiplash. I asked ChatGPT to describe it. It's about a drummer, his instructor, and explores ambition, obsession, and the cost of greatness. Our mom does always say the characters we're drawn to says something about us. Brian likes to rag on me for liking this internet personality named Scott Galloway, aka Prof G. This guy's kind of ridiculous and has this saying about career advice. Assume you are not Jay-Z. Don't follow your passion. Brian, after a few drinks, likes to randomly come up to me, look me dead in the eyes, and say, I am Jay-Z. Inferring that he did follow his passion and is loving it. Lastly, Brian has great taste. Growing up, I'd borrow/steal his clothes for a semester because they were cooler than mine, and forget to give them back. When I was out shopping around for my first nice car, Brian got the call. Not because he knows the first thing about cars or engines, but purely to talk aesthetic. Maybe the black with the matte black wheels instead, he says, a little cleaner. So that's what I bought. All in all, I'm very proud and impressed with the guy Brian's become. I love having him as my brother. Now, that great taste of his has come out the strongest in his choice in life partner, which brings me to Kaylee. Our family's introduction to Kaylee was fast and furious. When I was planning my proposal to my wife, where both of our immediate families were flying across the country to witness the event in LA, Brian and Kaylee were roughly 5 days into knowing each other. So naturally, Brian asked if he could bring her as a date.
5 days? I didn't realize it was that close.
Nothing says let's get to know each other like meeting the entire family in a week too. But Kaylee confidently joined the festivities, walked into our family's dynamic that weekend, fit right in, and thankfully has agreed to stay permanently. In the years since, some of my favorite Christmas gifts have been books from Kaylee, and I know she's always down for a nice walk, even when Brian isn't in the mood. Her calming presence, quick wit, and deep love for family has been a perfect blend with Brian. Kaylee, you're everything I always hoped my brother would find, and everything I could have hoped to welcome into our family. I remember many a time our grandmother sitting me down and saying, Matt, You know what the most important decision you'll ever make in your life is? No, Granddaddy, I'm 10. It's not where you live, it's not what you do, it's who you marry. And so far from what I can see, he's right. Marrying Chloe has been the best and most impactful decision I've ever made. And I know tomorrow morning, you're both going to wake up on your way to a similar feeling over the long run. So, when the hard days come, and they will, remember this. Brian, when Kaylee is running on 10%, step in and be your 90. You carry that extra weight with love and no complaints. And Kaylee, when Brian's running on 10%, tell him to buck up and deal with it. But then maybe make him a breakfast sandwich or something. So, here's to Brian and Kaylee. To love that is genuine, kindness that is constant, to a partnership that makes the highs even higher and the tough times a little easier. Please raise your glass to my brother, his wife, and my new sister, to Brian and Kaylee.